Have you ever heard of a drug so powerful that an amount smaller than a few grains of salt can stop a person's breathing in just minutes? That drug exists, and its name is fentanyl. Right now, fentanyl is considered one of the deadliest drugs in the world, and what makes it even more dangerous is that many people who take it don't even realize they're taking it. This is not just a problem in one country, and it's not only affecting people who use illegal drugs. It's affecting teenagers, adults, athletes, workers, and even people who think they are taking normal pain medicine. Today, I want to talk to you about why fentanyl is so deadly, how it works inside the body, why it spreads so fast, and what you need to know to protect yourself and your family. To understand why fentanyl is so dangerous, we first need to understand what it actually is. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid, which means it is a man-made drug designed to act like natural opioids such as morphine or heroin, but much stronger. Doctors sometimes use fentanyl in hospitals for severe pain, especially after surgery or for cancer patients, because it works very quickly and is very powerful. When used carefully under medical supervision, it can be helpful. But outside of medical use, fentanyl becomes extremely dangerous because the difference between a safe dose and a deadly dose is very small. The reason fentanyl is so deadly is its strength. It is about 50 times stronger than heroin and around 100 times stronger than morphine. That means a very tiny amount can have a very big effect on the body. When someone takes fentanyl, it attaches to opioid receptors in the brain. These receptors control pain, breathing, and feelings of pleasure. When the drug connects to these receptors, it can make a person feel relaxed, sleepy, or even euphoric. But at the same time, it slows down the part of the brain that controls breathing. If the breathing slows too much, the body does not get enough oxygen, and the person can lose consciousness and die without even realizing what is happening. Another reason fentanyl is so deadly is that people often don't know they are taking it. Many illegal drugs today are mixed with fentanyl because it is cheap to make and very strong. Drug dealers sometimes add it to heroin, cocaine, or fake prescription pills to make the drug feel more powerful. The problem is that the person using the drug has no idea how much fentanyl is inside. One pill might have a small amount, while another pill that looks exactly the same could have enough to cause an overdose. This makes fentanyl extremely unpredictable and very risky. You might think this only affects people who use illegal drugs, but that is not true. In many cases, people believe they are taking normal painkillers, anxiety medicine, or sleep pills. But the pills are fake and contain fentanyl. These fake pills are made to look exactly like real prescription medication, so it becomes very easy for someone to take a deadly dose without knowing it. This is one of the biggest reasons why fentanyl deaths have increased so much in recent years. Another thing that makes fentanyl so dangerous is how fast it works. Some drugs take time to affect the body, but fentanyl can act within seconds or minutes. Because it is so powerful, the brain can become overwhelmed very quickly. A person may feel normal one moment, then suddenly feel dizzy, confused, or extremely sleepy. If breathing slows down too much, the person may not be able to call for help. In many overdose cases, people are found unconscious because the drug worked faster than anyone expected. Fentanyl is also deadly because it affects the body in a way that makes overdose very easy. With some drugs, the body can handle small changes in dose, but with fentanyl, even a tiny extra amount can make the difference between feeling high and losing your life. This is why even experienced drug users are at risk. Someone who has used drugs for years may think they know their limits, but with fentanyl, those limits can change without warning. Another serious problem is that fentanyl is easy to transport and easy to hide. Because it is so strong, very small amounts can be turned into thousands of doses. This makes it cheaper and easier for illegal sellers to spread it in many places. As a result, fentanyl has become more common in the drug supply than ever before. In the past, heroin was one of the biggest causes of overdose, but now fentanyl has replaced it in many areas because it is stronger, cheaper, and more profitable for illegal producers. There is also a dangerous myth that fentanyl only affects certain types of people. But the truth is that anyone can be at risk. People who use drugs, people who take pills from friends, people who buy medicine online, and even people who experiment one time can all be exposed to fentanyl. Many overdose stories start with someone saying they only tried it once, or they thought it was something else. That is what makes this drug so frightening. It does not give second chances very often. Another reason fentanyl is so deadly is how it affects the brain over time. Opioids can change the way the brain feels pleasure and pain. When someone uses strong opioids repeatedly, the brain starts to depend on them. This means the person may need more and more of the drug to feel the same effect. With fentanyl, this is extremely dangerous because increasing the dose even a little can lead to overdose. The body cannot always adjust fast enough, and the breathing system can shut down. One more thing that makes fentanyl especially dangerous today is how fast it has spread around the world. In the past, dangerous drugs would take years to appear in different countries, but now they can spread very quickly. Because fentanyl can be made in labs and transported in small amounts, it can reach new places faster than people expect. This means communities that never had this problem before are suddenly facing it, and many people are not prepared for how strong this drug really is. And what makes this even more serious is that many people still don't understand how deadly fentanyl actually is. Some people think it is just another drug, but it is not. Its strength, its speed, and the fact that it is often hidden inside other substances make it one of the most dangerous drugs ever created. And what makes this even more serious is that many people still don't understand how deadly fentanyl actually is. Some people think it is just another drug, but it is not. Its strength, its speed, and the fact that it is often hidden inside other substances make it one of the most dangerous drugs ever created. Another reason fentanyl has become so deadly is the way it shuts down the body without giving much warning. With many other drugs, a person may feel sick, anxious, or uncomfortable before something serious happens, but fentanyl can make a person feel sleepy and calm right before their breathing slows down. This means the danger is not always obvious. Someone might think they just need to lie down for a moment, but that moment can turn into unconsciousness very quickly. When the brain does not get enough oxygen, the heart and other organs begin to fail, and the person may not wake up again. One of the biggest problems with fentanyl overdoses is that they can happen silently. There may not be loud signs or dramatic reactions. Sometimes a person simply stops responding. Their breathing becomes very slow, their lips may turn blue, and their body becomes weak. If help does not arrive quickly, the lack of oxygen can cause permanent brain damage or death. This is why fentanyl overdoses are so frightening for doctors and emergency workers, because every second matters. There is also a serious risk because fentanyl is often mixed with other drugs without the user knowing. Someone might think they are taking a stimulant, which usually makes the body more active. But if fentanyl is mixed in, the body receives two completely different signals at the same time. One part of the brain is being pushed to speed up, while another part is being forced to slow down. This confusion inside the nervous system can make the overdose even more dangerous and unpredictable. Another reason this drug spreads so easily is because it is synthetic. Natural drugs like heroin require crops and large processes to produce, but fentanyl can be made in a lab using chemicals. Because of this, it can be produced in large amounts very quickly. This makes it cheaper to manufacture and easier to distribute. Illegal producers prefer drugs that are strong and easy to transport, and fentanyl fits that description perfectly. A very small package can contain thousands of deadly doses, which makes controlling its spread extremely difficult. Many people also underestimate fentanyl because it is used in hospitals. They hear that doctors use it for pain, so they assume it must not be that dangerous. The truth is that in medical settings, fentanyl is given in very carefully measured amounts by trained professionals who monitor breathing, heart rate, and oxygen levels. Outside of that environment, there is no control over the dose, and even a tiny mistake can be fatal. The same drug that helps a patient during surgery can become deadly when used without supervision. Another factor that makes fentanyl so deadly is tolerance. When someone uses opioids repeatedly, their body becomes used to the drug. This means they need more to feel the same effect. With weaker drugs, the increase might be gradual, but with fentanyl, even a small increase can be too much. A person may take what they think is their usual amount, but if the drug is stronger than expected, their body may not be able to handle it. This is why many overdoses happen to people who have used drugs before and believed they knew their limits. There is also the danger of fake pills, which has become one of the biggest reasons for fentanyl deaths. Fake pills are made to look exactly like real prescription medicine. They may have the same color, the same shape, and even the same markings. A person might believe they are taking a normal painkiller or anxiety pill, but instead, they are taking fentanyl. Because these pills are not made in controlled conditions, the amount of drug inside each one can be very different. One pill might have a small amount, while the next one could have enough to stop breathing completely. Young people are especially at risk because many of them believe that pills are safer than other drugs. They may think that if something looks like medicine, it cannot be too dangerous. Unfortunately, fentanyl has changed that reality. Today, a pill bought from the wrong place can be far more dangerous than people expect. Many families who lost loved ones to fentanyl say the same thing. They never thought it would happen to them. Another reason fentanyl is considered the deadliest drug is how difficult it can be to respond to an overdose in time. There is a medicine that can reverse opioid overdoses, but it must be given quickly. If too much time passes without oxygen, the brain cannot recover. In many cases, the person who overdoses is alone, or the people around them do not realize what is happening until it is too late. Because fentanyl works so fast, the window to save a life can be very small. Fentanyl also affects communities in a way that goes beyond the person using the drug. Families are affected, friends are affected, and entire neighborhoods can feel the impact. When a drug is this strong and this unpredictable, it creates fear and confusion. People may not know how to protect themselves, and they may not understand how serious the risk really is. This lack of awareness allows the problem to grow even bigger. Another important thing to understand is that fentanyl does not care about age, strength, or health. Someone can be young and athletic, someone can be older, someone can be healthy, and the drug can still shut down their breathing. Physical fitness does not protect the brain from the effects of a powerful opioid. This is why education and awareness are so important. The more people understand how this drug works, the better chance they have of avoiding it. Many experts say that one of the reasons fentanyl has become so deadly is because people are not prepared for how strong modern drugs have become. In the past, drugs were dangerous, but they were not always this powerful. Today, the difference between a dose and an overdose can be almost impossible to see. This means that even one mistake, one wrong pill, or one moment of curiosity can have life-changing consequences. And the truth is, the danger is not only about addiction. Even people who are not addicted can be at risk if they take something without knowing what is inside. That is what makes fentanyl different from many other drugs. It does not always give people time to realize what they have done. It can take control of the body before the person understands what is happening. When we talk about health and fitness, we often focus on exercise, diet, and lifestyle. But staying healthy also means staying informed about the dangers that exist around us. Knowing the truth about fentanyl is part of protecting your body and your future. A strong body cannot survive without oxygen, and fentanyl attacks the very system that keeps us breathing. The more people learn about this drug, the more lives can be saved, because awareness makes people more careful, more alert, and less likely to take risks that could end in tragedy. The more people learn about this drug, the more lives can be saved, because awareness makes people more careful, more alert, and less likely to take risks that could end in tragedy. And this is exactly why understanding fentanyl is not only important for people who use drugs, but for everyone who cares about health, safety, and protecting their future. Another reason fentanyl is considered the deadliest drug is because of how quickly it can take control of the nervous system. The human brain depends on a very delicate balance of signals to keep the heart beating and the lungs breathing. When fentanyl enters the body, it attaches to the same receptors that control pain and relaxation, but it activates them much more strongly than natural chemicals ever would. This powerful activation tells the brain to slow down. The heart rate can drop, the breathing becomes shallow, and the body starts to lose the ability to stay awake. In a hospital setting, doctors can watch these changes and adjust the dose. But outside of that environment, there is nothing to stop the drug from pushing the body too far. One of the most frightening things about fentanyl is that the person using it may not feel the danger as it happens. Instead of feeling pain or panic, they may feel calm, sleepy, or disconnected. This can make it harder for them to react or ask for help. In many overdose situations, people do not even realize their breathing has slowed down until they are already losing consciousness. This is very different from other health problems where the body sends strong warning signals. With fentanyl, the warning signs can be quiet, and that silence is what makes it so deadly. There is also a psychological side to this problem that makes fentanyl even more dangerous. People often believe that bad things only happen to others. They may hear stories about overdoses and think those stories do not apply to them. This false sense of safety can lead someone to take risks they would normally avoid. Curiosity, peer pressure, or the belief that one time will not matter can all play a role. But with a drug as strong as fentanyl, one time can be enough to change everything. Another reason fentanyl spreads so easily is because it can be mixed into substances that people do not expect to be dangerous. In the past, Someone might avoid certain drugs because they knew the risk, but now the danger can be hidden inside something that looks harmless. This creates a situation where even people who are not looking for strong drugs can be exposed to them. The unpredictability is one of the biggest reasons health experts call fentanyl the deadliest drug in modern times. There is also the issue of how fast the body can become dependent on opioids. When a powerful opioid like fentanyl is used repeatedly, the brain begins to change the way it responds to pain and pleasure. The body starts to rely on the drug to feel normal. When the drug is not there, the person may feel sick, restless, or anxious. This can make them want to take more, even if they know the risk. The stronger the drug, the harder it becomes to stop, and fentanyl is one of the strongest opioids ever created. What makes this even more serious is that fentanyl does not always give the body time to adjust. With weaker substances, the body might slowly build tolerance, but with fentanyl, the jump in strength can be so big that the body cannot keep up. A person may think they are taking the same type of drug they used before, but if fentanyl is involved, the effect can be much stronger than expected. This is why many overdoses happen to people who did not plan to take such a powerful substance. Another reason this drug is so deadly is because it affects the most basic survival function we have, which is breathing. Every cell in the body needs oxygen to stay alive. When breathing slows down too much, oxygen levels drop, and the brain begins to suffer damage very quickly. Unlike some health problems that develop over years, this can happen in minutes. Once the brain goes without oxygen for too long, the damage may not be reversible. This is why fast action is so important during an overdose, and also why prevention is even more important. There is also a social impact that makes fentanyl especially dangerous today. In many places, people are dealing with stress, pressure, and mental health struggles. Some turn to substances as a way to escape or to feel better for a short time. But when the substance they use contains fentanyl, that temporary escape can become a life-threatening situation. The stronger the drug, the smaller the mistake needed for something to go wrong. Another thing to understand is that fentanyl does not only harm the person using it. Families are left with loss, friends are left with questions, and communities feel the effect of every life that is cut short. When a drug is this powerful, the damage spreads far beyond one person. That is why education, awareness, and honest conversations are so important. The more people know the truth, the less likely they are to fall into dangerous situations. Many people think strength means being able to handle anything, but real strength also means knowing when something is too dangerous to risk. Protecting your health is not only about building muscles or eating the right food, it is also about making smart decisions and understanding what can harm your body. Fentanyl attacks the brain, the lungs, and the heart, which means it attacks the very systems that keep us alive. Another reason fentanyl is called the deadliest drug is because of how small the margin of safety is. With some substances, the difference between a normal amount and a dangerous amount might be large. But with fentanyl, that difference can be almost invisible. A few extra grains can mean the difference between waking up and never waking up again. That is why experts warn that there is no safe way to take it outside of medical supervision. It is also important to remember that the world today is very different from the past. Drugs are stronger, more unpredictable, and easier to spread than ever before. Information travels fast, but so do dangerous substances. This means people need to be more aware than ever before. Ignoring the problem does not make it disappear. Understanding it is the first step towards staying safe. When we talk about fitness and health, we often talk about living longer, feeling stronger, and having more energy. But none of that is possible if the body cannot breathe properly. Fentanyl directly affects the system that keeps oxygen moving through the body, and that is why it can be so deadly so quickly. A healthy lifestyle can protect you from many diseases, but avoiding dangerous substances is just as important. The truth is that many lives have been lost because people did not realize how powerful this drug really is. Some thought they were taking something mild, some thought they could handle it, and some never knew fentanyl was there at all. Learning about these risks is not meant to scare you, but to make you aware, because awareness can save lives. And when you understand why fentanyl is considered the deadliest drug, you start to see that the real danger is not only the drug itself, but the lack of knowledge about it. The more people know, the more careful they become, and the more careful they become, the fewer tragedies happen. And when you understand why fentanyl is considered the deadliest drug, you start to see that the real danger is not only the drug itself, but also how quickly it can take control of the brain compared to other opioids. One of the biggest reasons fentanyl causes so many deaths is the speed at which it reaches the brain. Most people think all opioids work in the same way, but that is not true. Some opioids take longer to move through the body, while fentanyl moves extremely fast, and that speed makes it much more dangerous. When any drug enters the body, it has to travel through the bloodstream before it reaches the brain. The brain is protected by something called the blood-brain barrier, which acts like a filter. This barrier is designed to keep harmful substances out while allowing important nutrients to pass through. Many drugs have difficulty crossing this barrier, which slows down their effect. Fentanyl, however, is different. Its chemical structure allows it to pass through the blood-brain barrier very easily, much faster than many other opioids. Because of this, the drug can start affecting the brain within seconds. This rapid movement into the brain is one of the main reasons fentanyl feels so strong. When the drug reaches the brain quickly, it attaches to opioid receptors almost immediately. These receptors control pain, breathing, mood, and the feeling of relaxation. With weaker opioids, the connection to these receptors happens more slowly, giving the body time to adjust. With fentanyl, the connection happens so fast that the brain can become overwhelmed. The signals that control breathing can slow down before the body has time to react. Another reason fentanyl affects the brain faster than other opioids is because of how easily it dissolves in fat. The human brain contains a large amount of fat, and substances that dissolve in fat can enter brain tissue more quickly. Fentanyl is highly fat-soluble, which means it can move from the blood into the brain very easily. This makes the effect stronger and faster compared to drugs like morphine, which do not pass into the brain as quickly. Because fentanyl reaches the brain so fast, the person using it may feel a sudden wave of relaxation or euphoria. This feeling can happen before the person realizes how much drug they have taken. In some cases, the brain receives such a strong signal that the part controlling breathing begins to shut down almost immediately. This is why overdoses with fentanyl often happen faster than overdoses with other opioids. There may not be enough time for the person to notice the danger or ask for help. Speed is not the only problem. The brain depends on a steady rhythm to keep the body alive. Breathing, heartbeat, and consciousness all depend on signals moving in a balanced way. When fentanyl enters the brain quickly, it disrupts that balance. The receptors that normally respond to natural chemicals suddenly receive a much stronger signal than they are designed to handle. This can slow the nervous system to the point where the body cannot keep itself awake. Another reason fentanyl is more dangerous for the brain is that it does not need a large amount to have a powerful effect. Because it is so strong, even a tiny dose can activate many receptors at the same time. When too many receptors are activated, the brain sends a message to slow down breathing. If the dose is high enough, the message becomes too strong, and breathing may stop completely. With slower opioids, the body sometimes has time to react, but with fentanyl, the reaction can come too late.